Vegas Bad Boy of Podcasting is an entertainment-based wrestling program. The opinions shared are that of the host and their guest. Some celebrity voices are impersonated and usually not well. This program is not intended for kids and certain adults. Listeners' discretion is advised. You have been warned. Now let's get ready to podcast. Hey. Welcome to another edition of Vegas BadBoyz of Podcasting. I am your host, DJ Impact, and I got the full Bad Boy crew tonight. Sin City Steve, how are you?
Let me tell you something, brother.
All right. Simon Street, what's up?
I'm doing well. Unlike the sound guy, I'm fully rested.
King Lucky.
You're fired.
Right. King Lucky, what's up?
Who's next? Matt Michaels is next.
Matt Michaels next. What's up?
Well, I just want to say to all you kids out there who are you using currently your devices to play games, to watch videos, you know, you're always distracted with this
Porn.
devices in your hand.
Lord.
Please put down the devices and just go back to what we used to do in the old days, which was just play with your cock and balls, please.
Oh,
Jimmy, gotta play with your cock and balls. Play with your cock and balls. It's a hand-on experience. When was the last time you played with your cock and balls?
Okay, let's do the 1, 2, 3 count. It's time. Vegas BadBoyz of Podcasting present
1, 2, 3.
Count Talk.
Count Talk, baby.
All right, let's get with the first one.
1.
Now, we're going to start off the website sportskeeda.com.
Did you say sports skeet?
I did.
Skeet.
Ooh.
4 ways AEW television deal could hurt WWE and 4 ways it could help them. We're going to discuss this and see, do these guys got a point here or do they not have a point? Let's talk about how it could hurt them. There hasn't been a major alternative to WWE in years. That's the first one. Second one, wrestling talent now has an alternative job space. Okay, this is hurting WWE. Third one, there could be an exodus of talent. Okay, and the last one, the cleaner could be the next Hulk Hogan. And you know who the cleaner is, right? King Lucky?
Omega. hey, get that thing off my leg. Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Okay, that could hurt. Now, this is how it could help WWE. Competition drives businesses to their best. Also, AEW is putting more positive attention on pro wrestling than there has been since the end of the Monday Night Wars. 3, they could do some spring cleaning on their roster and not worry about condemning their talent to unemployment. And the last one that can help, it's a chance for WWE to show what their brand stands for. So, what do you guys think? This is going to hurt WWE more? Or is this going to help WWE more with AEW's new position? Matt Michaels has got his eyes closed. Simon Street is pointing to Matt Michaels. Let's just go straight to Matt Michaels.
Pass.
No, we want to hear the shit.
Okay.
No. We need to start hearing the negative side first. Because every time we have to hear the last negative thing.
Well, we presented a negative and a positive according to the report. So it's just, what do you believe or you don't believe from it?
Let me start by saying
You always start by
it will
saying.
not affect WWE's business at all.
Okay.
The ship keeps going. The most important thing, you know, and you brought it out, is that there will be a different place for somebody to wrestle.
Right.
Their contract's coming up.
Yeah.
WWE can throw double whatever they're making at this talent. But in the end, if they're not being showcased, i.e., Sean Spears, the perfect 10, then he can take his ball and go somewhere else.
Right.
And you'll start to see that more. But I don't think it affects their business at all. Will it make them improve the product? Probably not, because Vince is still in control.
So it's just going to stay the way it is, pretty much, is your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. What do you think, Sis City?
Actually, I think that Lucky is full of shit on this one. And here's why. There's definitely going to be an impact in some way, shape, or form to WWE's business model. Could it be good? Probably. Could it be bad? Yeah, I think more long-term in that case. But I think that what we'll see is we're going to see a resurgence of wrestling fans coming back to the product. I'm not saying that they're going to go back to being, to watching WWE or anything like that. Ultimately, this provides an alternative. This changes the game, honestly, because now you have those people that were, for one reason or another, disillusioned with the product that dominates the airwaves, and being disillusioned, they just tuned it out or maybe watched a video on YouTube. Now they will be able to be a fan and not be a WWE fan. So I really think that this could usher in a new renaissance period and a new boom period for professional wrestling.
But let me ask you this. If they don't get anybody but mid-card talent, does it make a difference?
Without a doubt. And so people that you might view as mid-carders right now, you have to keep in mind, there are going to be those people that are either ex-WWE or that Vince didn't have
Cast
anything
aside.
creative for.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation might be. You mentioned Sean Spears. I think that this is an amazing opportunity.
I'd agree.
For someone like a Sean Spears, because he was criminally underused as part of the WWE main roster. Now, am I saying
so where do you put him in the roster? See, that's the thing. You know, this idea that criminally underused. Well, when you have so many people, where do you put him, right? So, of course, he'll come into AEW. So now is he, he wrestles Jericho. He wrestles Omega. He wrestles Cody. He wrestles SCU. He wrestles... You know what I'm saying? Like, in the context of the company itself, it's just like the idea is good. But will it come to fruition, right? And I think one of the biggest things on this stupid fucking list that whoever the fuck put this together is a shitwad. That Kenny Omega is going to be as big as Hulk Hogan? Go fucking blow it out your ass.
Yeah, that's I have to disagree with that.
The only
that's
thing,
bullshit.
the only thing that he said that made sense in context of hurting the WWE is that they won't have a full monopoly on talent.
Right.
Fine. That's fine. Because in the structure of it, they don't necessarily need all those guys. Right? And in this aspect, the thing is that the opportunity should be there. Will it be there? Because, and this is just a devil's advocate position of, listen, you've got Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho as your headlining coming up this weekend.
Right.
We've seen it once.
True.
Now we're seeing it in the States. Okay. Right? So it's a rehash.
Yeah.
You've got Cody going against Dustin. Right? So all this supposed, mid-carders or young talent or however you want to call it, already here's a seat. Now, granted, could be one-off. That's great. It's a good occasion to do it. Maybe Dustin retires. Fine. But the question is that if there's all this influx, this is what fans are going to hate. This is what brings the backlash. And quite honestly, this idea that, there hasn't been competition and guys couldn't get jobs elsewhere. Listen, you had TNA around forever.
Yeah, true.
Impact is still around.
Yeah.
ROH is around. New Japan is around. NWA is now an upcoming. MLW is around.
Right.
The opportunities are there. The difference, they were able to get someone to listen to their vision, which is wonderful, but open up a pocketbook in which if none of it works, it becomes a write-off. It's a business write-off. They go out of business, it's a write-off. The difference here is it's not WCW. Everyone wants the wars and the rating wars.
Right.
Listen, WWE, they're aware.
Right.
They're aware, no doubt. But at the same time, this isn't a ratings war. And that's plain and simple. You also...
Could it become a ratings war? No?
I don't think so. These guys are signed to 3-year deals, right? Mm-hmm. The hottest that they'll ever get, I mean, they won't get a major talent. Sure, it'll catch fire.
The hottest they'll ever get is right now.
I agree with you.
Wow.
I agree with you. Because what'll happen is...
shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
listen, I'm excited.
like
absolutely.
And
I
this
agree.
is what's so fun about this.
Yeah, it's uncharted territory because they came from the ground up, right? But what'll happen is right now we don't know a lot, so that's why it's exciting. Mm-hmm. But to me, in my estimation, they will never be able to pluck a major star away to where they can get the eyeballs.
But even
they
if
can build
but
stars.
even if they do, if they plucked a major star away, if Randy Orton goes over, okay,
big fish in a small pond.
That's it. It's just here's Randy Orton, and now you're going to get people who say he's too big. He's killing the product because we want to see guys like the Perfect 10, right? Mm-hmm. So this is the thing you're going to keep butting heads on is the fans' anticipation and the reality of internet crapping.
Yeah.
And people are going to, shit all over things as quickly as they possibly can just because they're bored. And people think they're always right.
And that's the reason why it's important that they don't compete.
Exactly.
Stay as far away as you can from WWE's product. You don't go Monday. You don't go Friday. Mm-hmm. Wednesday is probably the most likely day that they'll go.
No, I think they're going to go Tuesday.
You think they're going to go Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a bad spot.
Except for being preempted because of the NBA on TNT.
Yeah, but at the same time, don't forget Raw goes directly against Monday Night Football. So
but on the
Monday
same
Night
network.
Football is not on USA.
Yeah.
Oh, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I listen. Well, and TNT, it's Thursday night basketball has always been their thing.
It's Thursday night.
I don't know where this Tuesday night thing is
TBS.
coming.
Is it TBS on Tuesday night?
Well, it used to be.
Yeah.
But I think they've been running games, but they can take that off. That's their decision if they're putting a product like this on. Plus, when did it's really funny because the whole thing is TNT is the gold product of the Turner brand, right? Mm-hmm. So you got the dramas and the that kind of stuff, but yet you have sports on that, which makes no sense because TBS was always the sports station. So I mean, just in their structure themselves, I'll tell you right now, Turner is going to basically fuck everything up.
Yeah. Well, we're Tuesday right now, and there's basketball on. So I think Wednesday is the safest bet.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think they go Tuesday.
Okay.
You could also change the basketball. You could put basketball on Wednesday and Thursday.
Basketball makes you more money than this unknown product right now.
Well, and there you go. There's your whole thing right there. Mm-hmm. See, and you just proved the point. Turner fucks this whole thing up because you're dealing with a fucking network. You're going too big out of the chute.
It's kind of true.
You can fail easier now because you're going to have executives and shit fucking around with a product that isn't even existing yet.
Yeah. What should they have done instead of going straight to a network that big?
I honestly don't see why they didn't stream. I would have found a streaming network like Fight. Mm-hmm. People would have paid fucking what,
and then let the anticipation build.
Exactly. Watch the product on Fight because see this. You know what? TNA was stupidly ahead of their time. Because they started with those $10 pay-per-views for you to get to watch the product, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, now you can do this.
Yeah.
Because you got Fight App. Fight App is the perfect fucking place. If you can do StarCast on Fight App where you pay $60 and you get all that content anytime you want it for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah.
Here's a perfect thing. You charge, $10 a fucking month or, what, and that could even have taken money that people would have been paying towards the network and potentially gone that
towards
way.
the company.
Yeah. Now, because you're in bed with a network, you do have to listen to what the network says. Now, they can say that the network won't be involved. We're letting them do their own thing. But if they're not bringing in the returns that they need to see to keep the advertising sponsors, and you hit it on the head, the NBA makes money for them. Yeah. Unless this product makes money for them, and you said it, it's like this is something that isn't going to make money essentially right out the gate. But I think it's going to make more money out the gate. You're looking at the XFL. Huge ratings. It's going to start off huge. We just saw it this year with football with the whatever the fuck that was.
The AAF.
Yeah, that's it. The AA fucked in the A or whatever it was. Yeah.
Block party draft.
But again, big number out of the gate. Huge number. And then folded.
And then how do you sustain?
Well,
Like,
that's
with AEW,
that's
how
the
do
thing.
you sustain?
That's the whole thing.
Right? You have to, I think one of the things that you look at with the talent that they have is how will they build these stars? And I think they took a unique approach by not signing talent that had a name somewhere else, at a big, or at least WWE. A lot of these guys weren't even in Impact or
no, and that's the way to go.
Yeah,
that's the way to go if you want to keep this fan base. But I also don't know if it's going to keep the network
casual
itself and the network itself happy.
Gotcha.
At what point does listen? Even in TNA, you saw it happen, right?
Yeah,
you had a product that was pretty solid, with having the young guys being built, and then as soon as they got the chance to get bring in Kurt Angle,
yeah,
bring in Sting, bring in Nash,
spending a lot
bring
of money.
in Hogan, bring in Bischoff. And it's like, here's the recycling unit. And that's because executives can't fucking, there are very few executives in this world who think outside the box enough to hit, where they get it.
Right.
Now, whoever's running this, if they get it, and if, every signs indicate that AEW is going to run that course where they're giving these opportunities to these people. That's why I laugh when I hear, the revival. Oh, they want out of their contracts. These guys want out of their contracts. They want out of their contracts. Sasha wants out. What good does it do this company to bring those people in where you are trying to build wrestlers who are going to be that future talent? If you do it right, you have something that can survive.
Yeah.
Now, is it going to be ratings galore? Not necessarily, but it's going to give the opportunity for growth. And this is the problem they're going to face. Are they going to get the chance from the network and from the fans and from the pocketbook
to give it a chance
to grow?
So does this, going back to the original question, and I'll just go to each one of you, yes or no, does this hurt WWE or does this help them? Sin City, what do you think? Help or hurt?
Help.
Simon?
I didn't get a chance to say why, but it's okay. I would say it helps WWE.
It helps? Well, you should get your point too. Go ahead. What do you think?
I think it helps because the more exposure for wrestling, you get back to those glory days.
Okay. Matt?
I think it's indifferent.
Indifferent?
Yeah, I don't think it helps or hurts them.
Okay.
I think the beast is on its own.
Okay. Got you. Simon,
it might hurt ROH. It might hurt Impact.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's going to definitely take from them.
Simon, what's your take?
I was going to say that it helps WWE not directly but indirectly. And I say that more in the long game because when you give wrestlers more options, it's like a holding pattern, even though it's not the traditional holding pattern for people. So I'll just use an example. Let's just say with Sasha Banks. Let's just say Vince McMahon's not going to be a dick and say, "Oh, you got 10 months left on your contract per se, but you know what? Because you sitting out, that doesn't count. So I'm going to add that to your contract." Okay.
Okay,
So let's just say that doesn't happen, because that's going to happen.
Right.
She gets off. Okay. She gets her release. All right. Traditionally,
How many times have you thought about that? Her getting off and getting her release.
He's speechless.
I think you're actually turning red, bro.
that's Bay. That's Bay.
Yeah.
I will.
Can you blush?
Oh, I can blush. I can definitely blush.
His trousers
All
are
right.
blushing.
All right. Let's get back to it. All right. But what I am saying is, traditionally, that is what Vince probably would do. Okay, let's just be honest. But let's just say in a fantastical, smart world, she's able to just say, "I want to release from my contract," and she gets it. Okay?
Yeah.
Traditionally, she'd be kind of fucked, to be honest with you. Because where would she go? Yeah, she would go to like ROH or TNA or hell, maybe she goes to New Japan. Okay, that's bad news for her. But and I'm a fan. There's nothing against her. I'm just being realistic. But it's hard for not only the talent to navigate back to the WWE, because now you have to go back on their terms.
Right.
And that means creatively, whatever, Vince probably just going to roll what you had 10 years ago. You're going to have the same damn music. So at least now you have a place where you can go. It gives WWE an opportunity to kind of look, okay, this is what they did on their own.
Yeah.
Maybe we could perfect it. Maybe we could change it. Maybe I just don't fucking like you, and you're going to do it the way I want you to do it, which most likely he would probably do, because he gives two shits.
Right.
All right? Vince, I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. But I will say everybody wins.
Yeah.
Because now it's more options. Yeah, I get it. We're talking about all these details with regards to what's TNA going to do, what spot. I'm just fucking happy there's another option.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that a lot of guys that for a long time have been shelved and maybe just didn't have the gall or didn't have the passion or just wanted a break, didn't have another option. Now they have an option
Right.
amongst other options. And so now who wins the most? Fucking us. We fucking win.
Yeah.
Fuck what WWE wins or AEW wins. We fucking win.
There you go.
I will tell you that, back to Michael's point, that now the smaller guys like ROH and Impact will be affected because you saw this week Killer Cross, Scarlett Bordeaux asking for their releases, and they don't have Jordan Grace under contract. And
Well,
she
she's on
could
contract
walk.
now.
No, she's not under contract.
Yeah, they actually just put her in contract. Double check that. Check that for me.
2 days ago, it was reported that she wasn't under contract. She's working per date, but she's not under contract.
I thought I just read she did. Someone double check that. But I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So they could ask for their release at
Yeah.
any time because they know AEW is going to be interested.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go to our second count. All right. We all watched it, right? WWE 24/7 title. Okay, we got a new title, guys. Let me just say this.
Really quick.
Sure.
You are right. Jordan Grace did sign one day after you read that she was not under contract. She is officially under contract.
Okay, I thought I read that. Yeah.
Good for Impact.
But can I also just say that Jordan Grace signed contract on my heart a long time ago.
Oh.
Hello.
She's
Well-
awesome. if I got a female trying to get crazy with me and that's my homegirl, I'm gonna call her.
I hear you. Going back to the title, though, it appears that quite a few people were not happy. Fans were not happy about this. And hey, I understand that Jericho and JR are on separate products, so they're going to say why it's ridiculous. And I think even Al Snow mentioned how this doesn't make any sense. Simon, I'm about to go to you. We want to know what the heck is going on with this new 24/7. It was very interesting watching on TV. I was like, what's going on? You know, what's going on? Simon, what's your take, man?
First of all, I wouldn't have named the fucking title the 24/7 title. You might as well call it fucking Fat Burger or fucking McDonald's drive-thru. Sorry, Vince. That was some last-minute fuckery. But it's okay. It's okay. You're a genius. You could be fuckering all the time. I would have called it the Diffusion title because that's the purpose and the function of this belt. You have a belt that you can defend on NXT, SmackDown, 205 Live, which Lucky watches intently every fucking week, and Raw, the flagship brand.
Right.
The great thing about that is we all fucking complain about the third hour of Raw. We always fucking complain about, okay, well, what happens when there's a gap in the fucking booking? Okay, this is a great opportunity. This is insert fucking the Diffusion title.
Right.
You can do it anywhere, and it ain't got to be in the fucking ring. So, but what I say, the way the belt looks, it looks shit. Fix the belt. Yeah. I'd rather you take the fucking Divas title with the butterfly and put that around somebody. But I like the possibilities of the function of that belt. I like the fact that it can happen at any time. They should call it the RKO belt. Because you could get it at any time.
I hear people say is they have way too many belts already, and those belts don't even get the position that or the promotion it needs, and now you have this. I'm just saying what others say.
No. I agree with you, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. If that's the case, then they probably didn't have a father that whooped their ass. Because if you a parent or you a dad, you can never have too many belts. Medea had a whole fucking bag of belts, and it didn't mean she used each one of those.
Okay.
It's just how you use it, that's all.
So, Impact, you bring up one hell of a point. There are way too many championships in WWE and all of their brands. I'm going to put this out there for every single person right here. Any idea how many championships this makes in the company?
Active or inactive?
Current.
It's
Probably
like 12,
7.
right?
And 7?
18 fucking championships.
Active championships?
Are you fucking shitting me?
That is
18
a lot.
belts.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Well,
18 belts.
let me just chime in.
Yeah, but
on-
you're including all the NXT and all the.
Yes,
Yeah,
I am.
he has to be.
let me just chime in on this.
I think NXT has to.
I think it's a great idea because if you watch Raw, you got to see all the people that were involved in this, which are people that have not been on TV. I saw EC3 4 times on TV on Monday, which I'm happy about because he hasn't been on TV.
Time out. But how many times did you see Lars Sullivan?
Oh man, Jesus Christ! Don't get me started on him. But anyway, the concept is great, right? The title is just ugly as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it don't look good.
Whoever created the title, and most people, I think, when you saw the announcement with Mick Foley on the pay-per-view, you were like, oh, cool, the Hardcore Championship's coming back. Then you get to Raw, and it's a brand new title. First of all, he can barely keep the title in the bag. It's creeping out with the green
I thought he had a
belt.
snake. I thought he was trying to beat Jake the
I was
Snake.
like, if he was anybody else, he would have probably got ripped a new one. But anyway, title comes out, and it is god-awful ugly,
Right,
But
yeah.
I do like the concept of it.
Yeah.
And, like most things that probably come to WWE right now, you have to just give it time.
Well, I guess it depends on how entertaining it is, because
Oh,
I did like
absolutely.
the fact how it ended, and Bobby opens the door and like, wait, what is he doing here?
Yeah,
And then
Robert
a ref
Roode gets
pops
TV
out.
time. I like
Right.
that.
I mean, that's I don't know.
Even though you're going to have a list of champions probably a mile long.
Well, I was just gonna say, can you guys name who the current champion is?
It's our truth.
It's our truth.
It's our truth.
Our truth. Right?
Oh, no, it changed tonight
Or it changed.
on
No,
SmackDown.
Well, I don't know yet, but
Oh.
it is our truth.
Yeah.
But that's just it.
But how many? Yeah, exactly. So how many champions have there been so far?
5.
3.
I was gonna say 3.
Yeah, it's 3.
But that's cool though, right? I mean, in a way, obviously it could get a little bit tiring. But the fact that we just had a quick second where we were like, "Who's the fucking champion?"
Yeah.
Or did it change tonight?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's a easy
And
fucking
It
segue.
could change at a house show.
And well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And it can change on the internet,
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
which is what
Have it-
they're going to be doing.
Have it change over Twitter. Or
Exactly.
something.
Yeah.
Which,
Somebody's eating that Cracker Barrel.
incidentally,
And it gets
the
changed.
big storyline coming out of the fallout from Raw was that Drake Maverick was scouring the country for our truth. So I do,
And they are playing with it
Yeah.
because
Yes.
Truth is tweeting, where am I? Find me.
Yes.
And,
I love it. That's
and
pretty
the fact
cool.
that our Truth is actually calling it the European Championship
Yes.
is fucking brilliant.
Again, I just wanted to add the definition of diffusion, the action of spreading the light from a light source evenly as to reduce glare or harsh shadows. Or, the easier part, the spreading of something more widely. It's a title that you can do what the fuck you want. Widely. You go wherever the fuck you want with it.
Yeah.
And it's an excuse for Vince when he has brain farts.
And let's be real too. I mean, the nostalgia is, the nostalgia feels are going to be there for some people. I think that the main reason why Foley got booed unceremoniously the way that he did on Raw is mainly because there was no hardcore element whatsoever to the championship.
Right. And everyone wants to see people, doing hardcore again.
Two things I think that could happen. One, there's so
DK
much
matches.
backlash over how ugly this belt is that somebody takes it and breaks it
Yes.
up. Breaks it with a hammer. Okay, that's one. Here's the other thing. Can you imagine they're getting ready to sign Johnny Blow, whoever.
Wow.
That's on
Johnny Blow?
That's on the independent scene.
I'm Johnny.
And so part of this 24/7 gimmick is that he wins the championship at the current promotion that he's at, and then he gets brought into WWE.
Or even better, fucking Little Nicky comes back and fucking takes
fuck.
the title from him and dedicates it to fucking King Lucky the Smart.
Jesus Christ. All right, moving on.
All right, there. 24/7 title. Let's see what's happened. Let's go to the number 3 ring count. 3! Okay, so Simon actually brought this to my attention, and after looking into it, I was like, well, that is pretty interesting. There has been a couple of times that Cody has mentioned this, the idea of there not being heels and faces. And on Twitter, one of the tweets that came through was at Cody Rhodes. He just asked him, "Are you a hero or face? I don't understand your character." And Cody simply replied, "I'm a competitor. Those dated tropes don't exist in wrestling anymore. Fans are more educated and hold our industry to the same standards as any other comparable form of entertainment. Context creates." So, guys, what's the deal on this? Is he right or wrong? What's up?
I think he's wrong. The reason why is if you go back throughout history, there's always been a good guy and a bad guy, right?
Okay.
In wrestling, you saw the tweener where Stone Cold was. He was ultimately he was a good guy, but he did a lot of bad stuff, right?
Right.
But I still think that in the scope of the world, there's the good guy and there's the bad guy, and if they start running shows like that, they're gonna be screwed. Because what do you buy into with the character? You buy into a really mean person. Or you buy into this person that's saving everybody, or he does all the right things. Daniel Bryan's a perfect example. People hate him because he does despicable things. So, to me, I would say that statement is incorrect.
Simon, you brought it up. What's your take on it?
Well, first and foremost, I will say that Cody is about 70% correct.
Okay.
30% no. And the reason why I say that is because I think that when he did say that's an old trope, yes, it is an old trope, but it is in a process of evolving. Just my opinion, I would say that I think that there should be a core standard of what your character is, what's your origin, or what's your tendencies based on creative storyline or where you're at with a match. Let's just be honest. Stone Cold is always, even though he's a tweener, he always had that stunner ready for your ass. And we all watched, no matter if he celebrated and brought the beers out, we always kind of knew, like,
I'm glad
all
that
right,
you brought
he's
him up.
probably going to stun. But again, he was a tweener, but he still had a dark side that could come out given the situation. Same thing with The Rock. The Rock could make everybody electrify, happy, but at the same time, he's a fucking dick. So it always comes out. So I think with the new era of wrestling, I do think that you're going to see us kind of getting away from the black and white heel face. but you'll see more of a tendency. The great thing about, I feel, with that is it gives the audience to feel and pretend that they are moving the storyline with their reactions. But in all actuality, it's going to give the competitors and whoever's doing creative to feed off of that and to dictate with more variance between, is there a tendency in this storyline that we're running? Are they going to be more of a face tendency?
Cody,
or are they going to do something different?
He also tweeted, the terms are outdated and not used anymore. Just the terms, not the concept of good versus evil.
And that's just what I said. But they are used. And the problem, what he's saying when they don't work, is when you have, I'm just going to name something that just recently happened. When you have somebody who's coming out to fucking be a fucking heel and they become a face.
All right. Well, here's
that happens all the time.
It does. Okay. But here's what and I'm glad you brought up Stone Cold. Mm-hmm. Here is the reason why Stone Cold sold. What was his greatest rivalry?
Vince McMahon.
Exactly. He fought against the establishment. So he was a good guy because he fought against the establishment. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why it sold. So that's the reason why I'm not sold on that statement.
Well, that's why I said, but that's why I said the percentage, because you still need, for a storyline, a clear cut. Who is the established heel? Who is the established face? But you can still have a variance. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's about interest. It's about character arc. At the end of the day, that's just my opinion. Michaels.
Okay.
What the fuck? I'm just playing. Go ahead.
No, because I mean, there's valid points there. There's no doubt. It's deeper. This is a very kind of disturbing problem, because what Cody is doing is using the wrestling equivocation. Okay. The problem is that wrestling is entertainment storytelling. So he can say that it's competitive. Okay? But at the same time, you can't apply that, being that competitiveness is what the NBA is, right?
Yeah.
It's what football is, what baseball is, it's what Greco-Roman wrestling is. You know, any kind of sport is actual competitiveness. Mm-hmm. So you have now people who root for different teams, right? And the fact of the matter is that unless, you know, a whole team goes and murders a whole team, right? You're not going to have a flip. You know, you're going to have diehard fans on one side and diehard fans on the other side. Because it's entertainment, wrestling relies on storytelling that goes all the way back to the beginning of people being able to relay ideas and tell stories, right? Mm-hmm. So in the end, stories are morality plays.
Yes.
Okay? What you have to do is establish something that is needed to be achieved and something that is in the way of achieving that. Okay? You don't have to necessarily say that this person is a heel or a face. You don't have to say that. Mm-hmm. Their actions tell you if they're a heel or a face in the story.
Absolutely.
Okay? The fans have too much say in this. Because fandom doesn't equal if this guy is a good guy or a bad guy. It means he's popular. Mm-hmm. For instance, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
One of the popular, most evil characters who, you just said it.
He kills children.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. He's worse than Daenerys.
Just wait till Cody has planned to Double or Nothing. So it's going to be way worse. Darth Vader. Yeah. But that's the example. The example is that you can have people who are villains, who are evil, but you can still enjoy the character. Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's the problem. So as soon as you start getting away from laying out the different moralities, the different trails that you're leading. If someone doesn't have a point to get to and an obstacle in their way, that's the problem you're seeing with writing and wrestling in general. And this is the whole idea of the belt being a prop, right? It has more prestige when it is presented as it was in the past.
Yes.
As something that would go from territory to territory, and your local babyface, when it was on a heel coming in, your local babyface would get the win by disqualification on the heel's behalf.
Without
the title
question.
never changes, and the heat is still there for the next time it comes around. Okay? Now we're in a phase of episodic television, so that you can't necessarily do that same thing anymore. So the problem then you start having is, for example, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman was being pushed a little bit as a babyface. Fans are behind him. That's why he's getting pushed. All of a sudden, they decide to go heel with him. And then they go babyface with him. And this is all happening within a couple fucking months.
Yeah.
So what then happens is you clearly don't have an obstacle for this man to get to. Why? He's a fucking monster. He is the obstacle. They have forgotten the basics of storytelling.
He's your Ivan Drago.
I have the rebuttal for that. And it's something else that Cody stated, and you probably have it or don't.
Yeah.
Cody has said from day one that AEW will make sure that records matter. Records, if you can do it right and you can maintain it consistently, not like Goldberg in WCW, where he was undefeated and all of a sudden out of the next week he jumped up 10 more wins. If you make it to where it's consistent and believable, that is the obstacle. Because then it places a person, if what Cody is sounding like, I'm not speaking for him, but I would hope maybe it's like this, to where now the obstacle is you have a goal.
Yeah.
The goal is you want to maintain a record wherever direction you want to go. Or if you want to trash your record because you have a feud with somebody you can't fucking stand. So you let yourself get better. It does open up enough dimensions to be able to write storylines. Now, I do agree with Matt Michaels. I think that at times, having the crowd have too much sway is a bit of a problem. But the great way you can, with AEW being in a different situation than maybe even like WWE, is because you still have inter-promotional people working together. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Sin City, DDT has a partnership with AEW, correct? So I mean, like, it hasn't been confirmed, but like they're okay. Like you have SEMA?
Yeah.
Coming over?
Yeah, so Shima's going to be a part of, obviously, Double or Nothing. But they've signed a deal with OWE, which is Shima's own promotion. So.
And the reason I said I didn't want to go off the subject, I'm sorry. I was saying it because then, we can't do the territory thing that we used to, because that was beautiful. But at least now, you kind of have what ROH has done with... like Impact or with NWA, you can go to a different promotion, have your title, and then almost present the same type of scenario, which I think is great, because then you get excited if you're only an NWA fan and you see like what happened recently, the Briscoes just come in, run shop.
Yeah.
You're excited. So now let's say, King Lucky, you watch ROH every day, which we know you may not. But for the scenario, you watch ROH all the time. I love NWA. We now get to have a
crossover.
Deeper. Yeah, it's like, damn, dude. My
DC
Briscoes
versus
came.
Marvel.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, again, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
But that's
he didn't spit it out immediately. I might actually.
I'm looking for the actual words. That's not good versus evil. You're
Right.
picking a different thing. You're picking the crossover, which, quite honestly, you're seeing, the ROH and New Japan and everything and the basis of All In was based on that, is that these companies can't draw by themselves, blah, blah, blah. It was, so this is how this came about. All right. When you put all the different fandoms together, See, again, we're talking the difference between fandom and storytelling. So when you put the different fandoms together, you're going to sell more and you're going to get more interesting. Well, baseball's a great example, right? Baseball 20 years ago decided, hey, you know what? The Yankees don't get to play against the Cubs or the Mets or the Dodgers unless they're in the World Series. So what do? We generate more money and revenue this way by starting an interleague play, right? That's what Cody's talking about into the feeding of competitiveness, and like you said, with the records.
But I was also going to say, too, not to cut you off, I was actually going to go next with what you were saying, which was brilliantly put, as action can determine good or evil. Because then at that point, if you have something to chase based on what maybe your core prerequisite is, you might be like, you know what? I'm going to do a dirty finish. I'm going to go more toward my heel side.
But you know what? I'll be honest. When he first announced that, with the win and loss record, I wasn't a fan. And I'm still not a fan because I think as the product gets bigger,
it's going to be hard to maintain.
It's going to be hard to manage and hard to maintain. And so in 6 months, when the TV deal is rolling, we won't even be talking about wins and losses.
And the other thing is, what does the win and loss, what does that translate into?
Right.
So if you're looking at win and loss records, are we talking now that this brackets it up? So now you have the top 8 people going against each other.
King of the Ring.
I mean, what is the idea of that compared to, I'm trying to win over the heart of this nasty, nasty wrestling assholes valet who's this wonderful, pretty girl next door, and she shouldn't be with him.
Yeah.
And I just want you to stop being mean to her, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking in your eyes, dude. I just sold that story to you by just saying it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. It's storytelling.
It's simple.
That's what we fell in love with when watching wrestling.
And that's what
Macho Man and
right.
and these larger than life characters.
You can
but there was the good versus the evil.
Right. You can incorporate things into it, but you have to have the basis of storytelling.
Sin City, I'm gonna give you the last word, man.
All right, man. So obviously, you have to have the basis of storytelling. I agree with that 1,000%. At the end of the day, it all depends on how you want your product to be perceived and how you want your product to be viewed in the eyes of the fans, but also amongst your peers. Take a look at New Japan. Obviously, they run the G1 every single year. That is a round-robin based tournament. That is a very sports-like atmosphere. Wins and losses matter. They do the best of the Super Juniors tournament every year. Again, sports-like feel. So ultimately, it's about establishing an identity and seeing that identity through and ensuring that you have the consistency and you have the competence to push through with that identity and to see it through to the end.
But you brought up a very good point, and that is that when you have something like they do in New Japan, you said very, very key word, once a year. And that is the thing. The thing is, you fuck the records. In this type of world and this type of talk, you can't do that if you're running a weekly entertainment show. You can do that once a year where it does fucking matter, and that's like you said, King of the Ring. That's, generally when something like that was created, that was the idea, to give it a little different sports feel. I think you absolutely could run something like that, and I think that they would be stupid not to, because that would probably be your biggest card of the year. But what do you put around it to give you, going back to the beginning of the show, television entertainment ratings that will translate into viewership dollars? In New Japan, they're not worried about the viewership dollars.
I'll say one thing. You think about it, and we can talk about this another time,
All right.
possibly, because Impact's looking at me like, dude.
No, it's all good.
I
Go
will
ahead.
say yes. I will call it gates. And when I say gates, every once in a while sprinkle in to where you say this pay-per-view, we're going to have gate tallying to where whoever wins and loses for that portion, that will be the record. And then whether you spread it to the next pay-per-view or not. So that way you are marking a tally of a win and loss. Now, obviously, it's going to be dictated based on storylines or whatever. But I'm saying something tangible for us people who may not watch it all the time to eat it. Just a thought.
All right. Cool. That concludes the 1, 2, 3 count. Good stuff. Good stuff. We're going to take just a quick break. When we come back, we have somebody on the phone I think we're going to enjoy. If you're a wrestling fan that plays video games, you've played the WWE games on THQ, you played them on 2K. I mean, you pretty much played all of them growing up to this point. This guy has a lot to do with the creation of building the game that we enjoy so much. His name is Bryan Williams. He's actually a good friend of mine. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about what goes into making that game and maybe even some inside stories, okay? We'll be right back.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Simon Street with the Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. Want to let everybody know that on Saturday, June 1st, 7 p.m., Future Stars of Wrestling present to you High Octane, Calm Before the Storm. Ticket prices include first row, $27, general admission, $17. All taxes and fees are included. For more information on purchasing tickets or information on the event, please go to www.futurestarsofwrestling.com or call 702-742-8770. Again, Saturday, June 1st, 7 p.m., Future Stars of Wrestling present to you High Octane, Calm Before the Storm. Why hear about the future when you can witness it yourself? Hope to see you there.
Hey there, Matt Michaels here. I just want to let everyone know that the Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting are pleased and proud to announce that we will be starting a monthly podcast live at the Boulder Station Hotel and Casino right here in Las Vegas. It's going to be on Monday nights, the last Monday of every month, and our first one is in June, the 24th at 6 p.m. at the Kicks Lounge at Boulder Station Hotel Casino with our special guest, Kenny King. That's right, ROH's own Kenny King and Las Vegas's King King is going to be with your Vegas Bad Boys at the Boulder Station Hotel and Casino. Now, the show will be us and Kenny talking about his life, his career, things you might have never heard about him. We'll talk a little wrestling, and then at 8 p.m. Pacific time, we'll go right into watching Raw. That's right, WWE Raw Watch-Along Party at Boulder Station Hotel and Casino. You can't get that anywhere else here in Vegas right now, just with us, the Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. And guess what? It's free, open to all ages. And yes, we like to curse a lot, but on this case, we're going to hold it back. So if you want to bring the kids out, please feel free, because it's a family-friendly environment there at Boulder Station Hotel and Casino, and I'm telling you, it's going to be one heck of a good time. So please start spreading the word. Tell your friends, because it's a nice little lounge, and seats are going to fill up quick. You're going to be able to order dinner if you'd like, get some drinks, have a good time, and guess what? During Raw, we'll be handing out prizes. So bulk up a little bit on your WWE trivia, and maybe you might go home with something nice. Boulder Station Hotel and Casino is located at 411 Boulder Highway, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89121. And it is at the Kicks Lounge. That's Kixx. And we can't wait to see you. And I'm telling you right now, you're going to get a chance. If you have any questions for Mr. Kenny King, ask him right there live as we record the podcast at Boulder Station Hotel Casino's Kicks Lounge on June 24th at 6 p.m. Don't miss it.
Now back to Vegas, bad boys of podcasting.
I'm excited. I actually went to school, high school and college with this guy, and he became something of his life where I'm still trying to find myself. But it's exciting because he's involved in so many things that we enjoy, such as wrestling, playing 2K series on the video games,
Yes.
and he's a big part of that. We have a lot of questions to ask him. Let me introduce to you Mr. Bryan Williams.
Yo, what up, what up, what up? Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yes.
I love what you guys do. And, yeah, man, I'm trying to make something of my life. I'm not there yet. I'm a fucking 39-year-old adolescent male.
We're all trying to figure it out, man. So you all riding along together on this.
I make toys for a living.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Well, look, man, we we go back a long ways, and let me just start from here. You
Yeah, long way. We old, brother. When did we meet? Was it the 10th grade?
yeah, it was
ninth grade.
It was around that time, and
Yeah.
when I met Bryan, he actually was with he had his own little crew, and they drew. They did drawings, because one thing you may not know about Bryan is that he was into comic books, or still is into comic books. So they used to have their own crew together, and I didn't think he was gonna let me in because I don't know how to draw. But nevertheless, he embraced me, and we.
I don't remember this crew of what you're talking about.
Oh,
but,
yeah, you do.
sounds
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, you remember that crew.
Was it Bloods or Crips?
That's what it
Definitely
was.
wasn't either one of those.
Yeah, that's what we avoided.
Where'd you went to high school at?
We went to Westchester High.
Okay.
Oh, man, that was a lot of that.
I thought you were going to say Crenshaw High or something like that.
Put it this way, Westchester.
Comics, yo.
Yeah, Westchester High was only like 2 or 3 miles from the beach. So
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah. So we wasn't in the inner city, as they say. We wasn't urban. Anyways, Bryan, tell us, how did you get involved? How did you first off get involved into wrestling?
You.
Oh, there it is.
I never. When I was a kid. I'm 39. Me and Joe are the same age, obviously. I was not into wrestling WWF when I was a kid. In fact, I really couldn't stand it. I tried watching it a couple times and I just couldn't buy into this cat with the freaking yellow trunks that looked like a swole hot dog. I'm like, this the guy that everybody's losing their shit over? I'm like. And I was like, nah, this is some corny shit. I was much into Transformers and G.I. Joe and, stuff like that, comic books, so it took me a long time to get into wrestling and, hanging out with Daryl. We became friends. He was all about it. And he slowly, you were collecting the action figures too, weren't you, for a long time? Daryl?
You can say that publicly. It's okay.
I don't know if I
Yeah, I'm pretty
collected.
sure.
I don't think I collected a whole lot. I had a few here and there, though.
I still do, man. King
Yeah.
Lucky's got a stash, dude.
True.
A stash? You have a whole closet of treasures.
It's true.
Yeah, I just remember him having all these damn figures and shit. And,
Yeah.
He'd always, try to get me involved in what the WWF was doing. And, it took a while, but it finally took. I think the first, not even I think, I know, the first wrestling show, any show, WWE in particular, though, was with Impact. It was an episode of Raw at Staples Center, the one when Triple H marries Steph, when he's got her drugged in the car and they're in Vegas.
Dude, that's a great
Took her to
show.
Vegas.
Yes.
Yeah.
They got
And that
married.
was pretty wild.
That was
And,
that was your first attendance at a live event, huh?
Yep.
I was
Hey,
there.
good one, because that was
Yeah.
you were there too.
Yep.
Oh shit!
That
Small
was-
world,
Oh,
world,
yeah.
homie.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the thing that we want people to realize too, is that your experiences as a wrestling fan intercross almost all other wrestling fans' experiences in some way, in some manner.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But yeah, I mean, that was my first show, and then Daryl not dragged me, that's, but invited me to go watch, what was it, WrestleMania 2000
Right.
with them at
Anaheim.
what was that in Anaheim? Yeah. That was my
WrestleMania
first
16.
WrestleMania that I ever went to. Was with Impact, and like when we graduated high school and then started college, we both went to Cal State Northridge. I kind of got into it more because at that point, the whole added, the old Monday Night Wars and all that, and like there were cats in my dorm where every Monday we'd get together and be like, "Hey B, let's come over to so and so's dorm. We're watching wrestling." I'm like, "I don't want to watch that shit." It's like it's Monday night, let's watch some football or whatever. Like, no, man, just come hang out with us. You ain't got to watch. Just come hang with us. So I did, and I remember simply I was having a beer, shooting the shit with the fellas, and all of a sudden I see this dude cutting his promo on the TV in the WWF ring, got the shades on, these thick fucking like mutton chop sideburns, and I'm like, who the F is this brother right here?
Yeah.
The Rock is my Hulk Hogan. He is the one that opened up my eyes to wrestling, and I was entranced watching this dude. Mm-hmm. And from that point on, like my wrestling fandom really kicked into gear. And like Daryl said, I'm really big into comic books. I still am, but at that point in time, it was like comics was like my shit. But since that time, comics have kind of fallen by the wayside. I still like them, but wrestling is my mistress.
If I could ask you, who's your favorite superhero of all time?
Spider-Man.
Thank you.
That's dope.
Spider-Man.
Superheroes with personalities and jokes.
Whether it's Peter Parker or Miles Morales.
Yes.
I just watched that last night into the
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse was pretty good.
Yeah.
So
good.
King Lucky, have you ever heard of Miles Morales before Into the Spider-Verse? Yeah. That movie was really cool because I would always tell my son about it because he's biracial. Yeah. And so I was telling him, and we both like Spider-Man. I tell him all the time, like, man, you know Miles Morales? He's the first interracial Spider-Man. He's like, really? And so I was trying to, show him the comic book. I bought him the comic books. And, he wanted to take him to bed and tear him up. I said, now we putting him back in the sleeves, partner.
Yeah, it told a great story. It was good. Very good.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah, I love that movie.
I'm gonna jump right back on the wrestling in a second, but going to the comic book thing, you still, first off, you had hundreds, I remember, if not probably close to thousands of the stacks of just comic books. You still own them? What's like the most popular, most expensive sort of one you have?
Rare.
Yeah, rare. How about that you have?
Oh yeah, man. That's another reason I stopped collecting the floppies like around 2006 because I got too fucking many of these fucking things, and I've been trying to sell them. And I just recently moved. I was in Century City. I moved to Culver City, and having to lug my comic book collection, I wanted to just throw them all the fuck away. I couldn't, of course.
Right.
These are my children, but I've got, I don't know, like here, my sister has some of my collection, but I'm staring at my boxes right now. I've got like, I don't know, 6,000.
Oh my gosh!
God.
See
right now,
you should have those
yeah.
appraised.
But I was a collector, but it's like I never did it. I mean, I just love comics for the medium that they are. I never, collected them with the intent of like getting rich off of them. And I just always had a hard time. I'm not gonna throw out any of my comics. I've sold a few. A lot of my Walking Dead stuff, like when Walking Dead was hot.
Yeah.
I made about $700. That
Wow.
was one of those books.
You're probably smart doing that because it's kind of making the decline.
That's exactly why I put them on eBay to sell.
Yeah.
I had like issue 1 through like 65 or some shit like that. So I was like,
Oh wow.
get rid of these.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm not gonna read these. But I got the first appearance of Deadpool.
Awesome.
I got
You got the X-Force ones?
X-Force. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'm a big Marvel guy, so like I say, Spider-Man, X-Men, Avengers, and so been buying comics since like 1984, 85.
Damn.
Wow.
I got some older. I got the first Black Panther that my stepdad gave to me back when he was still my stepdad. He's my former stepdad. But Jack Kirby Illustrated, #1. I think it was like 1972 or whatever. I got that.
Damn, man, you probably got that one on lock right now. That's worth some
yeah,
money if
I
it's
got
in mint condition.
Yeah, the condition's not that great.
But the nostalgia is high.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the nostalgia is high, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to get much for it. But no, I think probably my most prized thing is maybe that New Mutants '98, the first appearance of Deadpool. Only because I'm also a big Rob Liefeld fan. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Comic book artist that is, he's like the Vince Russo of comic book artists.
Oh, wow. Please go into detail.
Because everybody kind of, I mean, I always loved his style, but his style is very, like nothing is in proportion. Gotcha. And he's got this rep for not being able to draw feet, so he always hides feet in his comic book panels. But I don't care. If I want to see something photorealistic, then I'll step into a mirror. I'll look at some photos. You know what I mean? It's art. I don't care that it's not proportioned.
So let me ask you this, Bryan. So you got I'm gonna jump back over into to wrestling right quick. Tell me, at what point did you start getting now into the gaming? How did that start?
Okay, so when I was getting ready to graduate from CSUN, I had no idea what the hell I was going to do, but I knew that my graduation date was looming, kind of scared. And I had mentioned to my girlfriend at the time, just like an offhand, you know, do you remember Caroline?
I do, yes.
Yeah, so it was Caroline. I just made a comment to her saying, because we were talking about what we're going to do, and I said, you know, I'd really like to just, you know, straight out of college, you know, just kind of be a game tester. Just do that for like a couple months until I, you know, figure out what it is, what I really want to do.
Yeah.
And I just learned about game testing because I was watching it in MTV, and they were doing like a Where Are They Now type thing for the cast of the Boston Real World. I'm old as fuck. I'm dating myself.
Love that show, man.
There was this one dude, Cyrus, is this brother.
Yeah.
And I was like, and they were like following him around. He was like, oh, you know, since the show, I've been doing this, that, and the other. I work at EA and I'm testing video games. And I was like, oh shit, that's a thing?
Right.
I was like, what? So I mentioned that to my girl at the time, Caroline, and that was it. The conversation didn't go any further. And like 2 days after my graduation, I get a phone call from THQ, trying to set up an interview with me to come in for a game test position. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I know. Did I apply to this? My girl submitted my name.
Wow.
You know, she applied for me.
Dude, that is awesome.
And, and I interviewed, and you know, I was a game tester for about a year and 4 months. The first game I tested was an Xbox game called Raw 2. You guys remember that one?
Yeah,
I do. Was that the old Agora Hills office?
Yep.
Yep. I went up there a couple times and did the testing on did some of the testing on those games too. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
And that's crazy too.
Yeah. I remember you.
Okay. Yeah.
That's kind of the crazy thing, Bryan, is because, I mean, your timeline of when you went into THQ is, you know, I'm a big gamer, so THQ was really just big during that time. Like, we're talking about not even just the regular WWE SmackDown games that they were coming out with. They were venturing into other games. I mean, they were huge. So, I mean, you came in at sounds like the right time.
That was their attitude era.
Yeah, no, it really was. I remember when I eventually got onto the development team, I think, because off the strength of, I want to say it was either Cars or Finding Nemo. It was one of the Pixar games that they did at the time. Like, the company had so much freaking cash.
Yeah.
Like, they were really touting that to the company that we're strong, you know, we're in the black, we've got close to $1 billion in cash and all this stuff on hand, and they're making all these efforts to, you know, expand their portfolios and get new IP and all this. And we're like, okay, yes, sweet. Fast forward 2013, and I'm the last motherfucker standing.
Yeah.
That was a sad day for me, man, when they went out of business.
I will tell you why it was super sad for me. So there's a game that THQ made, you know, that I love, Darksiders. I love that game. I played that shit to hilt, and I was waiting for the third one to come out, and then they said THQ is done. I'm like, what about Darksiders? What the hell?
Yeah, that was a sad day.
Yeah, that was a really good game. I remember I was at an E3 once, and I was there demoing one of the SmackDown games, and Darksiders, that crew was next to me. And again, like I said, I'm a big comic book guy, and the guy who created one of the inspirations for that title is Joe Madureira. He was, he got famous drawing X-Men, and he did all the artwork and everything. He laid the artistic vision for Darksiders, and he was there.
Wow.
And I'm geeking out. I'm like, oh shit, is that Joe Madureira? And so I just casually went up to him, and I'm like, hey man, I'm a big fan of your art, this, that, and the other. We started talking, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? I'm here for the wrestling. He's like, oh yeah, Hulk Hogan, like he's all going back. Every time I talk to people who about wrestling, they go straight to the '80s, of course.
The golden years.
Usually, yeah.
Hulk Hogan, Junkyard Dog, all those those classic larger than life people. He's asking if they're in the game. I'm like, no, but do you know Evan Bourne? You know, and he's like, nah, never heard. But we kind of became friends, and we were there for, it was like a 4-day event. So we were, we talked like every day. And I remember one day I came home, and it was like the last day I was going through on a Friday. And I went through my comics, and I fished out my Uncanny X-Men number 350, which he had illustrated. And I brought it in, and I was waiting for the right time, and I kind of slid next to him and said, hey, excuse me, Joe, if you wouldn't mind, do you think you could sign this for me? And I grabbed the book, and like his eyes lit up. He was like, get the fuck out of here. Wow. And he's thumbing through it. He's like, oh, man, I remember this. Oh, man, I haven't seen this in ages. And he's like, of course I'll sign it. So that's actually something that I prize a lot in my collection, having met him. And like you said, that game was really, really good.
Oh, it was really good.
But THQ being THQ, they didn't, in my opinion, they didn't put enough marketing support and muscle behind it. Which they would always do. They'd always choose these shitty-ass games to, really put the machine behind. Like, what was the one that really kind of put the torpedo in THQ? Was that, the freaking Red Dawn remake.
No, the Red Dawn was garbage. I'm sorry if you knew anybody who made that game. There's a lot of people go involved, but I didn't have a taste for that at all.
Yeah, I forget the name of it, but you know what game I'm talking about. And they put all their marketing muscle behind that. It was like the first time that they actually aggressively put billboards up. Homefront is what it was called.
Yeah, that's what it was. Red Dawn Homefront, I remember. Yeah. And that game did so poor. I mean, and I remember seeing early builds of it, and I'd be like, so this is the game that we're putting all our, like, this just looks like a PS2 game. And of course, I mean, the visuals got better, but even when it was fun, I'm like, this is just a, rudimentary, perfunctory, your standard first-person shooter. There's nothing about this that's going to separate this from the Call of Duty or anything else. Everybody saw it right on the wall with that one, and that was a big, torpedo hit to THQ, and then a couple failed decisions after that, and we were out of biz. We went from having these really cool Christmas parties, company holiday parties at like the Agora Center Complex or whatever. This really nice venue. All you can eat, all you can drink, karaoke. Oh my gosh!
Like three different bars. We went to that, to having our Christmas parties in the lobby.
Oh.
Still had alcohol, little hors d'oeuvres and stuff. Yeah. It was cool, to not having Christmas parties at all.
Wow.
To basically
money ran out.
Coming into work.
Right.
Money ran out. And just getting to the point, was kind of wondering if you were even going to stick around. I mean, I lost a lot of friends that were on the WWE team.
Yeah.
During that time, that were getting let go because of headcount. It was all about headcount. We got to reduce headcount.
Yep.
So I'm sorry, I'm rambling on.
No. It's okay because it kind of leads into my next thing I was going to ask you
really
about
quick,
wrestling.
Really quick though, this is quite funny. There was an announcement on a board here back in 2009, saying that THQ they've just announced Homefront, and there's a comment under it because the deal was the United States was humbled by total economic collapse, then conquered by North Korea. And someone made a comment, the idea of North Korea conquering anything is too silly for suspension of disbelief.
Little did they know.
Thank God for 10 years ago in the internet.
Yeah, wow.
Hey, but Brian, you know what's so funny about that is you would think that, you know, you were talking about how Homefront just looked totally not up to par with the current generation at the time. And you put in all of this money, you put the machine behind it. I mean, we see the same thing right now with Crackdown 3. I mean, have you seen Crackdown 3? Have you played it at all? I mean, it's fun for 10 minutes, but when I'm looking at it, I'm like, is this Xbox 360? we at Xbox One X right now. What's happening? And again, they put this huge machine of putting it in there. And there was so many other games. I mean, obviously, the gaming industry, as you know, is a little bit different now. I mean, things that like indie games are kind of taking uproot and getting a lot of love and shine. But the question that I wanted to ask you is, you know, obviously you have an extensive career working with THQ, primarily with the 2K games, you know, going back Raw vs. SmackDown. And, you know, what is something that you would say you got a chance to put in like a thought and say, hey, this needs to be in the game that you see come into reality?
Huh. Like, are you talking about like in the current WWE game or just in gaming overall?
I would say current WWE game that you know you had a part in of kind of, you know, persuading people or maybe something, an idea that you had or a concept in the beginning. And then throughout the years, you saw it finally come apart, and you kind of look at yourself like, "Hey, I'm glad that me and a couple other people thought of that, and they decided to put that into the game."
Oh, okay. Well, I can answer this, but I don't want to come across as like a braggart or anything like that.
Do it, man.
You could brag
Toot
to
your
me,
own
man.
horn, bro.
Well, no, because it really is a sense where it's like, you know, it's a team effort, like getting these games done, and the amount of time that we have to get them done.
Yeah.
I mean, we since like, you know, once we're out of pre-production, it's essentially like a 8.5 to 9 month dev cycle, which is not a lot of time when you're trying to get and hopefully develop something that's worthy of being classified as AAA. But I mean, there isn't anything in the game since SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. That was my official start. I got hired on during production. It had already been underway for SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. But like my creative influence is throughout every area of that game. My primary responsibilities were gameplay and the create mode.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So, you know, basically, and hey, for, you know, whoever's listening to this, they may say, "Oh, yeah, you suck at your job," whatever. But the way the game has played for all of these years since I've joined, I mean, it's largely the result of my efforts and my work. That's like a big ticket, like picture thing, because like I said, gameplay was my main area of focus. And then just small things, small and big things. I mean, I was looking to collect my games because it's always easy if I can just look at like the back of a box, because that's all the big features, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, shit, man, it's just hard to answer because like I've contributed, I've done so much.
Brian, I got
just because of what I was doing. But yeah, so I'll just say gameplay, and then breaking it down even further. I mean, you guys play the game, right? Or have played?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I got 2 areas that I
right.
wish you would bring back.
All right. Well, you
Create
know,
a pay-per-view.
He said,
Oh.
Did you say email his ass?
I guess I'm giving it away for free.
I tried to bring that back last year.
Did you?
Actually.
Man, I missed that feature. So I
Yeah,
play
we
the
do
game
miss
every
that.
year. And then the custom soundtracks, man. I know
they
it's
never
probably,
gonna bring that back. They never.
I know
gonna
it's
bring
probably a legal issue, but those 2 right there for me was just amazing.
Yeah, the custom soundtracks deal. I could be mistaken, but there was an actual reason why we couldn't support that any longer. And I don't think it had anything to do with anything that, you know, that wasn't a creative decision on our part. That was something that
copyright, wasn't it? Just the copyright, because they were talking about in gaming in general, like music that you would have from a game 5 years ago. If they were to do like a redesign, they have to take that song out because they didn't have rights to that to have that song in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. I'm just saying consumer
No, I mean,
standpoint.
that's like a legal thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm strictly creative, but that sounds right. You know, I mean, I remember hearing stuff like that all the time because we used to support it, and I think once I think it was the console transition from PS2
to PS3.
or Xbox to 360 is when that kind of shit started to change, where we could no longer allow that. But yeah, that wasn't anything that we set out to intentionally do to kind of piss off the fans.
I got
but
a
I will
question
say,
for you.
you know,
Yeah, go ahead.
So the one thing I am proud of, because it took me kind of a while to get going, was when we first started doing DLC, which I think was SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. Like I was heavy trying to, you know, promote the idea of the fact that, hey, you know, one of the best things we can do to monetize for our DLC is to curate a selection of moves and sell that as like an individual, you know, DLC package of just moves, taunts, and all that.
Yes.
And my boss at the time, Corey, he was like, I don't know, B, like, do you think fans really want to buy, just be willing to pay for more moves? I'm like, fuck yeah, man. Like, you know,
and you were fucking right.
Playing this game.
Oh, Corey
You know, 'cause I played the
Ledesma.
game.
So in other words,
Corey Ledesma.
Yeah.
so in
I
other
love
words,
Corey.
you
I
got
love
my
Corey.
money every goddamn DLC. Thank you very fucking much, because I just had to fucking have move sets all the time.
Yeah, and I'm happy to say, like, I mean, since that's, I mean, I'm really proud of that. And you know, once we started doing it, and I've curated all of those packs. The past couple of years, it's been now that I'm with Ukes, it's been myself and then working with, you know, some of my old coworkers at 2K. But yeah, that's something I've been proud of, because like I'm proud of the stuff that I've done in the game that has persisted.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that I was able to help, you know, with that DLC, with the moves pack, the fact that, you know, small things like pin combos, comeback system, resiliency, like, you know, all these small little things that have become like staples of what's in the game are things that, you know, kind of came out of my head. You know, because I'm a fan, and like before I even started working on this game, like I played it, and I still play it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get teased. My boys tease me to this day. My ex-girlfriend now used to tease me also because I spend, you know, 8-10 hours at work working on the game, come home and I play it. And I said, well,
I was going to ask you how much would you play.
It's like, aren't you tired of this? It's like, well, I'm working so hard at work so that I can make the fucking game that I want to play once it's done.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember
I'm
you
a
were
fan.
telling me that in Orlando, like that, because I was asking, well, what are the games you play? I said, I just play my game. I was like, that's really cool. I like that.
And you've
Yeah, and it's like, I know it kind of sounds masturbatory, but I don't mean it like that. It's just I really enjoy it, you know, and I love wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, and
so along
so
the
another thing that I'm proud of. I'm just want to say this is the thing that I'm most proud of is what I did in 2K14 with the streak.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty legit.
That was actually really officially done, like the way that was rolled out. Yeah.
I love that. I mean, just turning that match against the Undertaker into a boss fight, you know, and that's how I pitched it. I was like, hey, Undertaker never loses at WrestleMania. We should make this into like a one-off boss fight. We'll have, you know, throw all these bells and whistles into it to make him, you know, tough as hell to beat. And I got to say, I mean, that was probably the most fun that I've had working on anything with the games, because it was just me and working with my coworkers now at Ukes in Japan. You know, like just come up with ideas. We brainstormed stuff, and that was fun. That was a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you, because you've motion captured thousands of hours, and what's the funniest thing you've ever seen during that process?
Funniest thing, man, I don't even know if I can just nail it down to one. There was so. I mean, mocap was fun. Mocap was really fun. I mean, I've got. Oh, geez, just so when I first joined, I started doing the mocap like 2007 when I took over. We were using contracted WWE talent. They would send us guys from Deep South or OVW. Right? You guys remember those?
Nice.
Those,
Yeah.
Of course you do. That else, no one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, you listen to the show. That's good.
Of course. Yeah, I subscribe to you guys. So there were just, I mean, there's all kind of funny times. I remember it might have been my third mocap shoot, and we brought in a crew of guys from WWE sent us a crew of their guys from Deep South. And I remember it was MVP, my boy Mike Taylor, who I've talked to I've told Daryl about Mike. He's the guy you guys should have on your show. This guy is, fucking amazing.
Send him to us.
I think Mike Knox was on that trip too, and then Tommy Dreamer was they always send like a chaperone, to like watch over the boys and kind of make sure nothing, funky happens or whatever.
Sure.
But usually the chaperone's there is just to chill in the corner and eat. And that's why I bring up when Tommy Dreamer was there. I just remember because we had a little catering area, and from the moment we got there, Dreamer never left catering. Like he stood sitting, and he was just eating bagel after bagel, and whatever he could get his hands on. Because they had, of course, we would get our lunches, breakfasts, and then just little snacks you could eat throughout. Because usually, because before we had Dreamer, Bill DeMott, he came a couple times too. He was like chaperoning, but DeMott would kind of really mix it up with everybody, and not even in a like he would get in the way or nothing, but he would kind of. He kind of helps, I guess, co-direct a little bit, and it was kind of cool working with him. But he was active. But Dreamer, God bless him, this motherfucker didn't move at all for the entire 8 hours.
He was stationary.
And it was funny because I had noticed it, but then I started hearing comments from the boys too, like MVP and like Mike, like they were starting to rib him as well. And by the end of the day, it was just a full on, like they were just giving it to him bad. But he was like, it's like, hey, go cap your motions and all that. I'm doing good over here.
Go cap your motions.
And Tommy Dreamer, he's a really nice guy. But that was funny. Another incident. I think I put
the other thing, Brian, you got to realize too that your bagels on set. Still show today on Tommy. So,
jeez, I guess we're not getting Tommy Dreamer on this show.
Damn.
Oh man.
Damn.
No, you know what? No,
you probably might get him after saying that.
But he would appreciate that joke.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He probably might be like, cool.
Yeah. And then having I didn't have his car towed, but Simon Dean, Mike Bucci. He came down once also for like chaperone, and he really didn't do much. I mean, he was working, but he was just on the phone all the time. But there was the second to last night. We went out, which is what we usually would do on like either the last night or the second to last night. Myself and even some of the guys from the mocap studio and the Forest of Talent, we'd always get together and go get like Korean barbecue or whatever. It was almost like a little tradition, and so we did that this one night. And, Mike Bucci was there, and after we finished up dinner, a couple of the guys, they wanted to go hit some club in near Hollywood, the Beauty Bar or something like that. So I'm like, all right. And I had my coworker, Dan, with me there as well. And so Mike's like, how far is it? It's like, oh, it's not too far. We'll follow Dan, and then I'll follow you guys. So we get to Hollywood, and it's a Thursday night, maybe around like 10:30, 11. Park into the shit show, of course. So I'm driving around looking for parking. And the talent, they're all following Dan in his car. So I finally parked. I found a spot on the street. And I meet up with them. And I'm like, Dan, where'd you guys park? Like, oh, on this lot right here. I'm like, is that gonna be cool? That seems a little too easy to be too good to be true. They're like, no, that's fine, it's fine. I live around here. It's okay. So we went we hit up a couple of different bars, and like I said, it was me, Dan, my boy Mike Mondo, Tracy or Taylor Wilde. Yeah, she was there.
Oh yeah.
Heath Slater, Cassidy, Riley, Katrina, Katie Lee.
Did
just a whole bunch of people.
Did Heath Slater have kids back then?
You know what? He did not. He still looked like a kid back then. He was so young. He
came out of a boy band.
So we're leaving at the end of the night, and I get to my car, and I'm like, all right, y'all, see you guys later. Like, I'm walking, whatever. And all of a sudden, because I'm looking at where they're parking at, and I don't see them moving anywhere. And so I go back and I join them, and like, hey, what's going on? And Dan's like, I think our cars got towed. And I was like, what? I said, Dan. And then, so I'm in the lot now, and clearly there are fucking signs that say, do not park here. And Mike Bucci was hot. He was hot. Not at me. He was hot at my friend Dan. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, and he's starting to lose his shit. And it's like, look, and we still have to shoot the next morning. And at this point, it's damn near just 2:30. So I'm like, look, let's just, call some taxis. Let's get the guys back to the hotel. At least they can get some sleep. And then I said, because, of course, on those placards it tells you if it gets towed, these are the people who have it. So, we called. Of course, they had both Dan and Mike Bucci's rental. So I'm like, let's go. So they get in my car, and so I've got to drive to this impound lot near
Glendale.
It was near Universal.
Yep.
It was close. Yeah, close.
I've done the same drive for friends who have gotten towed from Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Then it was the same. Must have been the same. They must have been the same spot then. Cause I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm gonna get in trouble. Mr. Bucci's gonna, I don't know, report. I don't know what's gonna happen. But we get there, and then he's all worried about how much it's gonna cost. He's like, oh, do you think THQ will reimburse us? I was like, well, we can find out, but that's not something I really know the answer to. So he gets his car and he heads out like in a huff. Like I said, not really mad at me, but really pissed at my friend Dan. And then my boy Dan is like, "Hey B, I don't have the money on me right now to get my car. You can spot me." I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" So I'm like, "Oh." So I think it was like $200 some. I paid half his car, released, and then we had our separate ways. By the time I get home, I've got like 2 hours of sleep until I got to get up and go drive back. I was living in the Valley at the time, and the mocap studio was in Playa del Rey.
Yeah.
So I'm in Northridge, and got to get up like 2 hours later, go back to the studio the next day. And Mike, I was scared how Mike was going to be, but he was super cool, but. He was talking a lot of shit about Dan. He was like, your fucking idiot friend should have knew better. It was like, because he lived in that area. I'm like, I know. He said, hey, at least you have to pay to get his shit out. But now this motherfucker owes me money.
Right.
That was a funny trip. But there's all kind of stuff. I mean, the guys, they were known for their pranks. Like a lot of times we would leave Korean barbecue and like dudes would just get on their phones and start prank calling like Jeff Jarrett or whoever else is in their phone. I remember MVP because he's come out. So MVP did mocap for us back when he was in Deep South, and then when he was on the main roster, we actually I requested that he come back because we had to mocap his entrance.
Yeah.
And we tried doing it with our normal crew and my boy Mike, who is pretty much the GOAT of everything that we do in mocap, and I leaned on him heavily. I had him doing it. And Mike's a white guy, but he's got some rhythm. He's got some soul to him. But he did not do MVP's entrance to save his life. And so I made the request. I'm like, if it's my producer, I said, hey, if you can contact WWE to see if they'll loan us MVP so we can have him mocap his entrances and his taunts, moves, whatever. So that's when he came back and he did it. And he was like, who was trying to do me? And I was like, Michael was. And he was like, oh, I knew it. Because he saw his entrance. He saw his entrance in the game. He was like, that shit is terrible. That's where you're here, bro.
Because I remember it did look different because I always found that MVP's entrance because he had, just in general, because he had the inflatable, like, I thought it was like a bounce house in the back when I first saw it. Like on TV, I was like, this dude got a bounce house in the back of his entrance? But yeah,
what it looked like.
Yeah, exactly what it looked like.
There was some creative props back in the day. Remember when they used to have the lowrider, the truck?
Yeah,
it's pretty cool
coming
stuff.
down the side entrance.
Yeah.
So Bryan,
remember Paul Burchill coming down with the pirate ship.
Yeah, the whole pirate ship. I do have a question for you, Bryan. All right, man. So you do a lot of the mocap. So I gotta ask, out of everybody you've done mocap for, who was the one that was probably either the most inappropriate while having to put on the mocap suit, or who was the person that was just the most uncomfortable and hard to deal with?
Well, this is gonna sound like a boring answer, but no one was hard to deal with.
Okay.
Like all the guys, like that's one thing I'll say. Like I've been around a lot of wrestlers because of my job, mocap, and then being like backstage at like TV tapings and stuff, and I've never come across anyone that's been hard to deal with outright. I will say not everybody takes to motion capture. Mm-hmm. That's definitely for sure. Some people kind of they get the concept. And I understand why, because it is because you have. I mean, these guys are performers, and then we're asking them to capture these emotions, whether it's moves, taunts, whatever, and we're having them capture it in this like cold environment where it's like it's kind of hard, where you're not in the what am I trying to say? Like, you're not in the midst of doing what you do. We're kind of saying, oh, you know how you do this move here in your matches? Yeah, can you just do that right now? And kind of, but make it look like you're doing it at that point in the match when you should be. Keeping the intensity, making it, feel as if you're doing this in an actual match. And like, some guys, they take to it. Some guys, it's hard for them. I know Yoshitatsu, he did some mocap work for us. Super nice guy, but he didn't take to it. Everything he did was very robotic. It almost, I think maybe the suit throws people off, where they feel they have to
that's what I was asking.
behave a certain way because of the suit, and it's like, no, loosen up, loosey goosey. It's like, moving the arms, it's okay. Like, ignore the suit, just do what you do. And so I mean, there are instructions like that, where it's like, we got to start in this pose, left leg slightly forward, right leg, slightly back, and then end in that same position. And that's really it. And it's like, once we start and then end there, everything in between, just make that look the same way that it does when you're working. And like I said, it's some guys had a harder time doing that than others. And when that happened, we just wouldn't, bring those cats back. But I mean, everybody was super nice. The most difficult, I guess a different answer for this. The most difficult time that I had mocapping anybody was, and again, it had nothing to do with her. I just was, she was so fine.
That's what I wanted to ask.
It was, and Daryl knows me. Like, I'm kind of a shy guy, like, when it comes to the ladies. And
right,
like, I've had to direct some really, really sexy women, and Angela Fong and Katie Lee, virtual, like, and they're super, super sweet. I mean, everybody is, but Angela Fong, like, it was difficult for me to
stay
focused. Direct her, because I was like, B, come on, you're the director, you got to man the fuck up. It's like, they're here to do a job, and I was like, Angela, you think maybe you could do this? But when it comes like the guys, I'm like, come on, y'all, that was shit. Take two.
You got all sweet.
I got weak. Man. And Katie Lee is so.
She's amazing.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She is so beautiful. And her eyes, she has these piercing eyes.
Yep.
And, she's maintained that eye contact, so I'm trying to give direction. And I'm just like a blubbering idiot. I'm just like lost. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta.
She's very intimidating when you talk to her in person because of those eyes and that accent. And it's just like, oh, it's butter. You'd melt. You're just like, how is she not, like, the most excellent wife right now to someone? It's like, oh man.
Yeah, and I love that accent, that British accent, man. That shit, that does it.
Yeah. Speaking of wrestling, let's really quick cover here your own experience dabbling into the ring at Mach 1. Now, you were there at a time where you encountered a little training from one Joey Ryan. Did you ever grab his dick?
Just went right into it. No drink, no nothing. Drink, no nothing. Did you feel the power?
This was pre-dick flip Joey Ryan. So he wasn't flipping anybody with his penis as yet. But yeah, I got into like I said, I'm a fan, and being around the guys when we would motion capture and do all that stuff, like, I'd get in the ring. I mean, obviously, we're mocapping in the ring, but I had my boy. I was getting trained, or I asked to learn how to do some stuff with my boy Mike Taylor and Chase Stevens, some of the other guys who were there would kind of show me things, how to lock up, how to simple collar and elbow to wrist lock to slide headlock, that kind of slide headlock takeover, like, because I was just really that much into it, and seeing them do all the motion capture, I just kind of got like envious. Like, man, I want to fucking do this. I think I can do this shit. And I I remember I was leaving I think it was either a WWE live event or it might have been a PWG show. But you know when you leave these events, there's always people out there with the flyers and stuff for like either someone's next show or whatever.
Right.
And I got and I grabbed one. It must have been PWG, and it was a flyer for Mach 1 Pro Wrestling. And this was actually my second attempt at trying to sign up with the school, because the first place it went was Rikishi and Gangrel's school. What was it? Was it Hard Knocks or?
It was something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Which I found out from another flyer. And they were actually closer. They were in Glendale. And
Right.
I remember going Knox Pro Wrestling Academy.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I met with them first, and I met with Gangrel and this other guy, Black Pearl. He was there. He was one of the coaches, and we talked and everything. And I was really interested in joining in. I think when they were, and again, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I do work out, so I think they were kind of impressed by like my size and like, oh, okay, this guy, we don't know if he's athletic, but it looks like he keeps his body in shape. So they had a little interest, but then it was just way too expensive.
Right.
And it was like a couple thousand, and I just politely said, I'm sorry, guys, I just really can't swing that right now. And they were willing to try to work with me, but I was like, I just can't. So when I found I got the flyer from Mach 1, it was in Anaheim, a lot, further away from me, but it was considerably cheaper, and found out that it was run by the ring announcer for PWG at the time, John Ian. And I kind of asked around to some of my friends that I knew, like I'm friends with Chris Hero, and I kind of pinged him, and I said, hey, you know John, right? John Ian? He's like, oh yeah, he's a great dude. And I kind of asked him, I said, yeah, he's got this Mach 1 thing. I'm thinking about checking it out. He's like, oh yeah, that John's great.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. So went down there and met with him, and yeah, John is he's like one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. And I signed up, and I think it was only like $500 for the beginning class. And I told him that it was like 3 days a week, but I could only commit to going to the Saturday class because there was no way I could leave Agoura Hills to get to Anaheim by 6 p.m. So he was like, look, it's fine. Like, we can, do it on your own schedule. If you can only come in Saturday, that's no problem at all. So I did that, and the next weekend I drove down. I started. Joey Ryan did a little bit of training with me towards the end, but my initial trainer was this wrestler, Johnny Goodtime. You guys know of him?
Yeah.
From the Rock Nest Mafia.
Yeah.
So he was my first trainer, and I remember that first day. Like I was so scared, so nervous. Didn't know what to expect. I was like, oh, am I gonna shit the bed? Like I'm like all this stuff going through my head, but I was like, I just got to try it. Let me just see what I can do. And that first day was probably the best because it was only like 4 of us, including Mr. Goodtime, Johnny Goodtime. So everybody he was able to give a lot of attention to everybody, and Johnny Ian was there at ringside just kind of checking stuff out, seeing how everybody was doing. And I remember that first day we did. I mean, it's like this is not anything new, but did a lot of bumping the first day.
Yep.
It was nothing but bumping and hitting, running the ropes.
Yeah.
Bump, learn to run the ropes, get back to more bumping, run the ropes, more bumping. Starting out, even they didn't, started out, small. Like I think the first set of bumps that we did, we basically would just grab the middle rope and then allow yourself to fall into your back and kind of, fall clean that way, kind of distribute, all that stuff. And then from there, we started doing just, standing flat back bumps and my adrenaline was like going through the roof, and like I didn't feel anything. I was just having like the time of my life. We did a couple of up and overs, like getting whipped to the corner, and then kicking yourself up over the the turnbuckle or whatever, then the guy come underneath you. And I was really good at it. And I remember John was like, "You sure you haven't done this before?" And I'm like, "First time, bro." It's like I've done a little bit of stuff in the mocap, but no, it's like. And it was the first time that anyone's complimented me on anything athletic, because as Daryl will tell you, I can't play anything. I can't play basketball. I can't play football. I can't catch anything. I can barely dribble. So this was the first time where I felt like, oh man, this is cool. Like I could actually be good with this. And I remember leaving, and I called my girl at the time, and I was, I had heading back home, like how excited I was and everything. And just like on cloud nine that entire day. Just could not wait to go back, the following Saturday. And then I woke up on Sunday.
Sore.
And it felt like I had been hit and run over by a fleet of Mack trucks.
Yes. Yes.
I have never felt that kind of pain. I've never been as sore to this day as I was waking up that next day.
Yep.
It's the reality check. It's the Matt check.
Yeah. It was of course, when you run the ropes, like I knew the bumps, taking those, the back bumps were gonna, do something. And they did, but man, it's the fucking ropes. Running the ropes, for me, hurt a hell of a lot more than, taking your ball into my back.
Well, it's because
it was like getting whipped every fucking time.
It's
and everybody said you just got to keep doing it. You'll get used to it. You'll develop a tolerance.
Yeah, because you get the rope burn. You get the rope burn right away. Johnny Goodtime actually was one of the people he was trained by was Tom Howard, who was one of the guys who trained me. So, what you're saying is exactly the same thing he went through and I went through, and every single one of the wrestlers out there who actually listen to this, everyone can relate to that, and that's why if you have any inclination of just wanting to be able to give it a try, that's why you should do it, because you should know what it feels like to do it. And it's a fun time, and you'll never forget that.
It's also a humbling experience as well.
You're so right about that, Matt, because I think, to this day, like I can't. If I just see somebody get scoop slammed, I kind of wince. I have a now that again, I only did it for a couple of months, but knowing just how the simple things that a lot of see the guys sit in the ropes, they see guys fall into the backs and they get up like it's not really a thing, but it's like no, that even those simple things fucking hurt.
Yep.
Back body drops. When I see people doing back body drops, I wish I kind of close my eyes like, oh god damn.
Yeah.
It's imparted a lot on how I view wrestling now, where it's like even if I see a match that maybe it's I'm not really enjoying it, I have such respect and admiration for even the guys who are just putting their bodies through that, because it really is. Your body's it's something your body isn't designed for.
Right.
It's pretty crazy.
So you've had an opportunity with your job to be backstage many a times, and I know there's one particular.
You broke up a little bit.
Oh, my bad.
Repeat that real quick.
You got it? All right. So with your job, you have been able to be backstage plenty of times, and you've got to see a lot of things. But one thing in particular I want to ask you about is I heard that you had an opportunity to see just the production magic of Vince McMahon and how he produces and deals with his commentators. Could you explain some of that?
You're talking about? I think I got most of that. Vince and how he produces the commentators.
Yeah. How? What's his style of producing? Let's put it that way. Or directing.
So I've had the privilege, I would say, be backstage Raw and SmackDown, and even a couple of pay-per-views, a couple of different times, maybe like 5 or 6. Doing all various things, and when the time that I was there, you guys will remember this was during the whole guest GM era.
Mm-hmm.
Where they'd always have. Yeah, so like I was there for Slammies once actually. I got to hold one backstage in one of the rooms. That was cool.
Nice.
But I was there. I was there when Dennis Miller was there. I was on that episode. I was on the episode with Mark Cuban when Sheamus put him through a table.
Right.
I saw them practice in that spot. I was there when Vern Troyer was there. I got a chance to meet him. Some other actor, a couple of other actors, so I kind of forget. But yeah, so I was there pretty much just to help them film, essentially commercials for the video game.
Right.
Where you see those pre-tapes on the show with like the guys that are playing the latest game. That was actually me in the back playing the game while they've got the controls in their hands, kind of doing all that shit.
Nice.
So that was always me. So usually, me and my boss, my coworker, Steve would get to the event around noon, and just wait, just like everybody else. Just wait in catering, or just wait wherever you can where you're not in the way. So somebody gets the room together, and like one of the producers or writers will come and say, okay, well, this is what we're going to be doing, and they set everything up. You film the pre-tape. Vince will come in and check it, and the fact that to me really blew my mind is just these dumb, corny pre-tapes that sometimes would take 5 and 6 takes to get right. And this is because I think the writer of each segment was the one that I was also directing it, and so we'd be there, and these rooms are tiny. I mean, they might look small on TV. They're smaller even in real life. I mean, these are basically just like utility closets that they convert into whatever kind of room that they need. And I'm off in the back and doing my thing. And I remember I did one with Triple H and Shawn Michaels when they were still doing the DX thing. And the room was so small, and there were so many people in the room that I was furthest in the back, and I'm standing on a chair, one of those, like a folding chair, while I'm playing the game. While they're fakey playing the game.
Fakey playing.
And but I've got heads above me, and I'm doing my best to like maintain so I can see what's going on the monitor on the TV. And I leaned over to one side, and I fucking fell. And I fell on like top of one of the stage hands, and it caused all this ruckus, like all the and I remember everybody turns around, like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. That was my bad. I was so sorry. And I was shitting bricks. Everybody's laughed it off, whatever. We did more, but to see how Vince micromanages, like he will look at these things, and really it's like nothing goes on the air unless he's viewed it, he's heard it, from the most important angle on the show to the shitty info commercial that they put in between the middle of an episode of Raw or SmackDown. Like he was there, and I did one with MVP, and he's looking over it, and MVP is looking at Vince like, and I guess just looks like, oh, we got to do this again. We have to do this again. And sure enough, it's like, yeah, do one more, and then let me know when it's done. I'll come back and I'll sign off on it. But his level of involvement really is impressive. So once I was done with that part of my job, that's all I was there for. Once I was done with that, I basically would just find an area backstage and either shoot the shit with somebody or just watch the show. They got monitors everywhere. Usually the pre-tape room where I would film is where I would then go and just watch the episode as it was going on. And a lot of agents will be in there, or like some referees. The day that I really got a glimpse about how he produces the commentators was I was in one of the back rooms. Me and my coworker watching the show. Lil Nate, the referee, was in there chilling.
Charles Robinson,
Dean Malenko, and we're all just shooting the shit and just watching the show. And when they go to commercial, and they've got headsets everywhere too. So when they go to commercial, the headsets are always on, and you just hear Vince it's like just talking, giving all these instructions and just nonstop. And I mean, and I'll say, like, the times that I've heard him, I mean, it's been rare that I've heard him like be or sound kind of mean or aggressive, but he definitely comes across as very curt and just very matter of fact. But it's nonstop. It is nonstop. I mean, he's talking to Michael Cole, giving instructions to him, Kevin Dunn, like and all these people are chiming back in. And then once they go back live, the only other voice you're hearing is Vince. Like no one else is talking. Right. And you're hearing just Vince
voice of
communicating. Yeah, the voice of God, the voice of WWE. And he's basically just relaying all these points that he wants Michael Cole or the King to hit. It's like, hit him again with the whatchamacallit, and it's just non-stop. And while he's talking, like Michael Cole and King, they're doing their thing, and they're doing it without missing a beat, and they're still relaying all the information that Vince is telling them to relay. And I'm like, that is insane. That takes a whole other set of skills that I think only a certain small percent of the population will be able to do.
Right.
And Michael Cole is one, and the King too. Like I have a lot of respect for those cats as well. Because when people complain about anything on the show, whether it's how the commentators or produce what they're saying, I mean, bear in mind, it's not them. Like, they're there to do what Vince is directing them to do.
Yeah.
And I think, all you have to do is kind of take a look at an episode of Raw with Michael Cole, and then juxtapose that with with how he sounds when he was doing commentary for the NXT UK tournament, that first one, where he sounded like a completely different commentator.
Yeah, he did.
I was
Actually,
like, wow. And that's the difference. You've got Vince in your ear versus, I don't know if it's Triple H or maybe he just lets them do their thing, but it is a difference. But yeah, it was always exciting being backstage. It really is. And then leaving with the crew and me and my boy Steve, Eastless, we'd have to, we had our rental, and if we're at a Raw, we got to drive to where SmackDown is. Wow. I remember once we were in Corpus Christi, and we were driving to Corpus Christi for SmackDown, and ended up in Mexico.
How the hell that happen?
Yeah, Steve was driving. He got lost, and I'm like, dude, is that's a checkpoint?
But
I think that's.
But Brian, for people who don't know, the Steve we're referring to is commonly known by the name Navajo Warrior, and he's really one of the nicest guys in pro wrestling. And a lot of people have worked with him, have trained through him. They know him. He also lives in Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. So he does a lot of traveling and should know the roads in and out. How the hell did he end up in Mexico?
That's what I told him. That's what I told him that dude. And you've done these loops before, and, how did this happen? So it didn't put us too much out of our way, and I think because the hotel we were staying at wasn't too far off from where he had made the wrong turn, but it just so happened that turn, like there was no way for us to turn back around. So we basically we explained everything to the guy and said, look, we made the wrong turn. Like, oh, it's fine, just drive and come back out, So we did that. But I didn't know that you knew Steve. But yeah, Navajo Warrior. He still wrestles.
Yep.
Still, yeah.
Yep.
Shams wrestling from Hollywood, and Steve's a great guy. He's a really good guy, and he did a lot to kind of make me feel welcome with the rest of the guys, backstage, because because everybody knows Steve, and all he had to do was, Brian's with me. He's good people, and that was all it took. And it's like, oh, all right, he's cool.
Hey Brian, so I got a 2-part question. First, I'll start out with, what's your favorite WrestleMania moment from the past?
Jeez, oh man, hitting me with a tough question. I was at the last WrestleMania that I was at was what was the one in Orlando? Was that 33?
That was 33.
That was, right?
Yeah,
33. All right. So I'll say leaving WrestleMania 33 was my favorite WrestleMania moment. I was tired as shit.
And the heat was beaten down. I was there too. It was beaten down pretty hard.
I was there for like 9 fucking hours that day, because I was there with my coworkers, from Ukes, and they want to get there for everything. They don't want to miss a single thing. And I'm making a joke, but obviously, yeah, that shit was way too long, and it kind of got to the point I just want to go back to the hotel. And as soon as it's done, we got in the buses. I couldn't wait. But length aside, I would probably have to say, and I don't want to be too much of a prisoner of the recent moment, but Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan, Bryan Daniel, he's one of my all-time favorites. Yeah. And when I was going through a period of my wrestling fandom where I was really kind of starting to get out of it, or kind of out of the WWE product, when I got introduced to Ring of Honor, and specifically, Bryan Danielson and his matches, it kept me going. It kept my wrestling fandom alive, because he was wrestling a style that at that time for me is something that I desperately needed to see to kind of maintain my interest. So I've been following his career ever since, and up until when he first got signed, of course, and the little NXT thing with the Miz, I was just and I knew I'm smart enough to realize that the guy that I was seeing in Ring of Honor wasn't going to be the same guy in WWE. But I was happy for him nonetheless, because he was finally getting the money that he had coming to him for how
to match his talents. Right?
of a performer that he is.
That's just so fickle. That's fickle of you, Bryan.
Fickle, yeah. But and I always found it funny that the big knock on him before he signed was, everybody would always say, I'm sure you guys have heard this. Oh yeah, Bryan Danielson. I don't see how well he would fare in WWE. He can't cut a promo. He can't do this. He can't do whatever. And seeing his career in WWE, it's vindication for me as a fan, and I know for him it must be as well. So, when he went on that whole thing with WrestleMania 30 and having to compete against Triple H to get into that triple threat, and then WrestleMania 30 ending the way that it did with him, winning the championship and in front of his fans, that was just a moment that I was happy for him, of course, as someone who's just been a long-time fan, and it was just a nice. It was just a perfect moment. The road that they used to get there was pretty fucking shitty, but they nailed the landing.
Yeah.
And that's a moment that I think is probably gonna stick with me, probably more so than anything else, because again, just how much of a fan of his that I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that one.
And also,
and now with 35 coming up, I'm hoping the same thing happens with Kofi.
Yes, that's what I was getting to. I was going to ask you your prediction on that one. So you think Kofi's going to do it?
Well, all right. I love professional wrestling. I am not so much a fan of the current. I'm not even going to say WWE product because there are parts of that company that I very much enjoy, but Raw and SmackDown I think are generally terrible shows, and I think that their build and what they've done to get a lot of these matches, these programs to the point where we are now, WrestleMania, has been again a shitty, bumpy, and in some cases unnecessarily complex and convoluted ride. But that being said, if Kofi, I kind of feel, and I really do this, but Kofi has to win.
Has to.
For a couple of reasons. You cannot introduce, and I know they've dropped it in the weeks that have since passed, but you can't introduce and have these racist kind of dog whistling undertones about how, a guy like Kofi can't win the title.
Right.
Like, once you introduce race, even if you're not being explicit, although as a person of color, that was explicit enough for me. Like, I got what they were going for with that.
Right.
Once you unleash, the genie out of that bottle, it's like you can't put it back in.
Nope.
You know what I mean? It's like it's there now. You may not, try to, use that as a factor in the weeks since, but that was the kickoff of this whole thing. And I really wish that they wouldn't have gone there with it. But the fact that they did, I think he has to win.
Yeah.
And I think this could also be a way for them to kind of correct and do a make good on what happened with Booker T and Triple H, which was even more
even further than that. even further than that.
Yeah. And I believe. Again, I've met Bryan Danielson a couple times. We're not friends at all, but I've spoken with him, and I get the sense from him that he's probably going to want to put a lot of pressure on the creative team, if it's needed, on Vince, if that pressure is even needed, for him to drop the title to Kofi.
Yeah.
So I expect, not expect, I don't want to give him that much credit. I hope that Kofi Kingston wins that match, and I think it's going to be a good one. We've seen what these are two of the best, and we've seen just in their brief encounters that they've had leading up to this one-on-one. Like, these guys are going to tear the house down, I think, if given adequate time. Hopefully Triple H and Batista don't have a 30-minute epic, but
give me what I want.
Give a lot of that.
Well, based on what you just said, everyone listening, it was great to have on Bryan Williams, the former designer of WWE 2K.
Future endeavor.
No.
You know what? Get Brian's boss on the phone.
Look,
I need to talk to him right now.
I'm nothing but honest with my critiques. I'm also I've been to so every WrestleMania they have the WWE holds a business partner summit the Saturday before Mania, and I've gone to two when I was still going to WrestleMania. I went for WrestleMania 32 and 33, And these events really kind of it just shined a spotlight on the fact that me being critical of Vince McMahon's booking is such a non-starter where it's like it doesn't even mean a fucking thing.
Right.
Like this company is making money. Their revenue streams are so immense that, and even like being in this conference and hearing Vince talk, Stephanie, they bring everybody out and they're talking about all what they're doing, and it's kind of like a pep rally for them and how good the company is. But then it's also it's an acknowledgement of all the people they do business with. And I'm sitting in my seat and I'm like the critiques of any journalist, myself, it's so fucking fuck all to this company because they don't care.
They give zero shits.
They're printing money. That's why.
Yeah.
They give zero shits. In fact, the fact that they even give a person an opportunity to air out their grievances is good enough.
Yeah, I mean it's a company that is going to make money in spite of its, in my opinion, haphazard booking. But who's going to tell Vince that he's doing it wrong when he's made more money than he's ever made? Just recently signed these contracts with Fox to air SmackDown on Fox. Mm-hmm. I mean, this company's going to make money in spite of itself until they don't. But that's not going to happen for the foreseeable future. Because I hear you guys talking about AEW, and I'm very much a fan of what they're doing. But by no means, I know for a fact, and I know for a fact on their side, they're not looking to compete with WWE because you can't.
No, you can't.
And anybody who's trying, it's impossible. And any company, like in the past, TNA has tried to. It's like, don't even waste your time trying to compete with them. They are fucking McDonald's.
They are.
They are McDonald's. They are.
I just ordered some McDonald's.
Yeah. I mean, they're just a beast of a company. And the thing is, you don't have to compete. No one's going to replace McDonald's. But you know what? You can be an In-N-Out. You can be a Five Guys. You can be a Shake Shack.
Mm-hmm.
An alternative that, I mean, look, McDonald's, they don't make the best burgers. They don't make the best food, period. But they are fucking McDonald's, and they are like Coca-Cola. These are companies that are not going anywhere.
Nope.
But there are other companies that can thrive and be successful in spite of that. So I kind of feel that, that's my analogy with AEW and WWE. Is WWE is Mickey D's, and AEW has the potential to be a Five Guys, a Shake Shack.
Yeah.
As long as they're not Smash Burger.
Well, hey, Brian, check this out, man. We are running out of time, as we always do, when we having great.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're perfect. In fact, we're gonna get you back in. We got to do this again, another segment. Yeah, we'll probably have you in way before that because there's more questions I even wanted to ask, and I knew this was going to go way over. We had the time, but I want to thank you for coming to do the show, man, because I know you got things you had going on, and like I said, there's a whole lot more that we want to interview with you. So appreciate it, brother.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
man.
That was awesome.
And thank you for listening to the show and subscribing. We appreciate it, man. Really do.
Oh, man, no problem at all. Thank you guys for having me on. And like I said, I enjoy talking to you guys, and I really do enjoy the show. And every time I see you guys tweet something out, I retweet to the people that follow me as well. So,
awesome.
Yeah, man, this is fun.
Yeah, double or nothing. You'll be in studio.
Yeah, and if I do make it out to Vegas for that show, I'll let Impact know, and I would love to fucking chill with you guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, sure.
We'll get some 2K in.
You know all the cheats, man.
No doubt.
I know all the exploits.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Cool. Hey, Brian, thanks, man. I'll talk to you a little later this evening, man. Take care.
All right, you too. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
All right,
Take
man.
care.
Have a good one.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Simon Street with the Vegas Bad Boys of Podcasting. Want to let everybody know that coming up on Thursday, June 13th, 2019 at 8 p.m. at 450 Fremont Street, Las Vegas, Nevada, you're going to have the Nerd Bar with Future Stars of Wrestling present to you Beers and Body Slam, featuring none other than Joey Ryan. You will also see stars such as Chris Bay, Damian Drake, Funny Bone, Santana Jackson, Sin Bodie, Sway Thompson, Dave Manzi, Greg Romero, and many more. First row $25, general admission $15. Tickets available at futurestarsofwrestling.com. We're going to be there and hope to see you too.
Hey, Vegas Bad Boys podcasting listeners. This is Matt Michaels, and I just want to tell you right now, Los Angeles, you better be fucking ready. Because the Vegas Bad Boys are going to be in town on Saturday, June 29th, 2019, for the Bumps and Bruises big pro wrestling event at the Los Angeles Ale Works Brewery and Tasting Room. And that is in Hawthorne, California. Now, usually we're here in Las Vegas, but because of the good, wonderful people at Bumps and Bruises, we are going to be there doing a special show for VIP ticket holders, which is going to be fabulous. If you jump on Eventbrite right now, you can get tickets for VIP. It's $50. Now, they go quick because there's not a lot of seating available, but with these tickets, not only do you get to hear a show with us and some special guests, but you also get early entrance. You get a seat in the brew pit. You get meets and greets. You get a Bumps and Bruises t-shirt. You get one free pre-game beer. How about that? Pre-game beer. You have to be 21 or older to get that beer, though. And, of course, you get the live taping with us, which is worth the $50 by itself. Then you get all that other stuff. And I'll tell you, on top of that, and if you can't afford the VIP, I understand, $50, pretty steep. But you can come to this show for as low as $20 and see Brian Cage with Melissa Santos right there by his side going against East Coast's own Slice Boogie. And guess what? It's a double main event, which you're going to see the Lucha Homies, and they have a mystery partner. So Mariachi Loco and Little Cholo, we don't know what they got planned, but they're going to have a big surprise apparently, because they need something to go against hate. And I'll tell you right now, Tito, Rico, Che, they're ready to take these guys down. So something's going to happen, and this looks fabulous. You know what's really fabulous? Right here. Volcana versus Buggy Nova. These guys, these two women are fabulous, and they have a death match basically going on here. It's a gripe, and something has to give. But on top of all this, we get another tag match with Super Panda and Eric Watts finally tagging together. They've never tagged together out of all these years, but they've wrestled each other many times, and now are finally teaming up to go against Luke and PJ Hawks. That's right, father and son tag team. There's some other great action on the card too, and of course, I gotta say it, card is subject to change, and all ages are welcome, but to have a beer, you do have to be 21. So we're going to see you on Saturday, June 29th at the Bumps and Bruises Pro Wrestling event. Again, it's at the Los Angeles Ale Works Brewery and Tasting Room. You're going to love this place. They got some amazing beers. You can't go wrong. Get your tickets now because they are going to go fast. Go to Eventbrite and look up Bumps and Bruises and get your tickets as soon as you can, because come June 29th, if you don't have a ticket, you might not get in. And that's not good for you. That's bad for you. We don't want you to feel bad. We want you to be good. All the love.
Thank you so much for checking out that video. If you liked what we did there, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new here, slap that subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you can be a part of the notification squad. Follow us on social media at Vegas Bad Boys with a Z on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And until next time, we will see you in the next video.